Hey, we're not online yet, are we?
No.
But I think the answer needs to be the DOD care. But everybody. It's up to us.
How you doing? Huh?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Well, you must be here for the construction project.
Yes, sir.
Okay. David Bryan.
Nice to meet
Nice to meet
you. Nice
you.
to meet you.
I'm Assistant Superintendent of Organizational Support,
Okay.
which means I chase assholes all day long.
Sounds kind of like my job.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Brown,
Yes, ma'am.
You need those.
y'all gonna freeze me to death, huh?
It'd be great, yeah.
Look.
No.
That's gonna be a good little gift. I don't even know if she knows. I don't even know if she's checked.
Oh, you sent that email?
Not yet. I checked it just a few minutes ago and it was on there. So
So do she get an email too?
she should get an email. It tells her, congratulations, your license has been issued.
I'm gonna call her. You mind?
Not at all.
Jada, I'm sitting here with Mr. Brown. Did you check your email? He wanted to say congratulations. She said she didn't get one. Can you forward her? Yeah, forward her. He said congratulations. Yes, ma'am. She hollering. Don't holler. I'm at the board meeting. Bye.
It turned
Attorney
Okay,
Dave,
now if we turn this off, on this speaker on the owl, gonna pick up enough? Okay. All right. So am I looking at this QFC, this black box in the middle that's got all the little turn things on the right? So just press that off. It's off. Thank you. Right back. And Mr. Dale, how are you?
hey, Miss Sue, how you doing?
Okay.
Miss Kim, Attorney Dave said she can't call me.
Right, right.
Did you do the folders?
To do the what?
The folders?
Do I need to put them there now?
Well, we could wait till, we go into executive session, or you could let them fill it out, because we was only gonna discuss it if they need the extra time.
So they're taking them home with them?
No, we gonna do it today.
Angela's not gonna be here?
Well, we all got it on the email.
Oh, okay.
Let me step out and call her and tell her to send hers to Attorney Dave. She probably gonna do a call, but she didn't pick up.
Hey. Yeah, yeah. Like we'll call to order, do our vision and mission, our 30 seconds of silence, adopt the agenda, review minutes, and yeah. All right. You're welcome. Bye.
The Sergeant Sick Volunteer Services is going down right now. It's on Thursday. It's got a 7-day cure. It's driving. Starts with us. Should be right on that. Law was it quit raining here. When they're pointing out when it rains, they're off for residential drive. I got just sent the guys out.
They've been there, I've seen.
They're over there right now. That's right up there.
I told them, it could have been done before the rain. All right.
Just hit us at the wrong time.
We probably was asked, until we also go to the city council. Just to let them know what's going on with the building before we put it up.
Okay.
And so she'll give you a day, I'll give you some time to almost, she'll let you know. We didn't have experts that was registered on it. So
They might still have the lights on, but they're not going to do this.
all the
Okay,
details. Thank you.
That's no problem. That's all right.
Dr. Ellis's, yeah. We left his on, but he didn't use it, so they, no, they still have the lights, but not got the system turned off. Because we didn't unplug each one of the lights. Each one of the lights has independent power. We'd have to get under there and unplug them just to make the lights go off.
Okay, that's fine.
Is it working?
That's right.
Do you think,
I do. Yes. So they had to this.
I'm calling.
Yeah. And Attorney Day says she will never hear it.
How to track them? I stopped down while we home.
They have to put one more call on it. And it has to cure for 7 days. And then they'll come back and do the strike.
But the drainage is fixed. What caused, that track was moved.
I guess it was at, late in the storm. They blew the tree down.
It lifted well.
This is, every work.
Hey, what does the name stand for?
Maybe they were not on their work session. They didn't do it next this Friday.
Yes, sir.
That's what I meant to do. Select somebody. Maybe the house. Because I think it's critical for that person. It's quick as possible. It's me, how you doing?
Listen, I said some extra tablets and I just wanted us that we need to make notes or whatever, and we can leave them here. No. Okay, now give me back. I was just.
If it doesn't say McCombs, right?
No, what I'm saying is this payment
It doesn't say McCombs School District. It's got to have a tiger on it.
Give me this, but you get them some type of
Same color.
That's what I'm saying, it's the same color.
No, it was just something, because I know we be making notes, if you want to make a note, this is something we can leave.
Yeah, it's cool.
I just have it.
I know it look good.
Oh, yeah.
It really
You
looks
see how it's laying down?
and then I like the little color.
I like the mix on color. This is how my hair was. Well, I'm gonna get that. I like this, it's growing fast, you know. We're getting stronger. I think everybody has incredible hair. Getting stronger and stronger every day.
Miss Betsy, how you
Hey,
doing?
Miss Betsy.
Try to see what his food is in.
What I'm supposed to say?
Oh, yeah, we in
That's
there.
all it was.
I guess.
Like that, that's
Yes,
our.
that's not-
Miss Bessie, I had some extra time, that's just if you wanna make notes, that, and to leave it here or take it or whatever. Cause we
I leave it every time, because I always get in here and I'm in paper.
and that's why I say I'ma leave mine, so we can have a little scratch paper or whatever.
Hey, hello, how's everybody?
Hey,
Coming over.
That's what Ms. Merle, when she came in, she's like, where am I? Who am I? Where do I sit?
Where am I?
Everybody.
Dr. Price, how you doing?
Oh, I see now. I can read it. It does not say.
I know, it's just some scratch paper, and I had so many I made with it.
How you doing, Dr. Burke?
That's my shirt. Sister.
I didn't know It's just the scratch paper that we can keep here, and we can get out there. As I tell them.
MAP stuff? Yep. That's new. See how much we've been underfunded?
Kind of interesting.
Did you send me some days? Did you get another? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I can always go ahead and modify it. I can check it. But you tell me.
Thank you.
Didn't see that.
She gonna call you. That's his name.
Ms. Kim, Ms. Banks is calling in herself. Or you have to call her?
I'm about to come call her, I told her, I called her 5:28.
I think that's.
These mics are going on, that's they might so go ahead there.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
So these are all-
That's what it says. But they've been giving us the
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 601810969.
I'm sorry, July 18 board meeting intercession. First, we gonna stand and state the vision and the mission and have 30 seconds of silence. The vision,
We produce students empowered to change the world.
the mission,
The mission of the Plum School District is to become a premier world-class school system where student success is inevitable and each student is cultivated to become a fierce competitor in a global society.
you may be seated. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as written?
I make a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have a motion? A motion and a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. A motion to review of minutes?
Madam Chair, I move that we review of minutes.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second to review the minutes. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Next on the agenda is the discussion of construction project update by Ms. Nash.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Preston McKay is here from M3A. He's going to give you the update on the track project as well as the summit edition, and I'll follow him with my little bit of information.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good.
As far as the track goes, they are putting the final surface down, and that's the surface that you'll see. It's the red color, and it's kind of got a little pebbly sand flake in it. They're expected to be done with that on Thursday, and then it has to cure for 7 days, and then the striping can go down. So as of right now, they're projecting to be done around August 4th or August 5th with the track installation and the striping. The thing that's been holding them up is just the weather on everything. If it rains, they got to a point where if it rains, they're pretty much off it for a day because it soaks up the moisture. They've got to let it dry out before they can apply any more surface to it. So every time it rains, it shuts them down for a day, day and a half, and then they can get back to it. But based off what the contractor informed us of today, that's what they're looking at, August 4th or August 5th to be fully complete. Any questions?
I have a question. One of the things that has been brought to my attention is I'm happy to hear that we do have a completion date. That's wonderful. I've been informed that we've had an issue with theft, tools, equipment, and things out there, and I'm just wondering, because I would like to think that it's a secure area. Are you aware? And what are we doing to help with the issue?
I think they've had some small tools
Okay.
maybe come up missing,
Okay.
nothing major. I think there is one gentleman who likes to traverse the property at night.
Yes, they reported, the supervisor reported that there's a homeless gentleman who likes to avail himself of the facilities overnight. I have not gotten any information on any thefts.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I've not heard that from anybody. But what they did when the supervisor contacted me the other day about the homeless guy, I arranged to put him in touch with Mr. Gatlin so that they could get security on board. And I think they started that on Monday night.
Yeah, the security started overnight on Monday.
Monday night.
Apparently the gentleman has a bike, he rides it back and forth. And with them putting the surface down, if you ride the bike through it, it's gonna leave bike tracks in it. So they've got somebody out there overnight until they get done at the end of this week to make sure he doesn't ride across the newly sprayed down surface.
Okay, well, that's great. And I guess my other concern, I know in the past, we've had issues with our track meeting the required regulations and everything for hosting track meets and whatever, so August 4th or 5th, we're gonna be good to go?
Yes, ma'am. You'll be back to the 8 lanes. They're all regulation with. You'll have all your markings for all of your sprint events, all of your hurdle events, all of your long distance events. You'll have we left the original jump pit in place for practice runs.
Okay.
We constructed 2 new regulation jump pits across the street where the football practice field is. And those are up to current standards and regulations.
Great, that's
And then we reworked the pole vault area, brought it up to current standards and regulations, and then reworked the high jump area. So once you get done, everything will be up to the current NFHS regulations, which is what the state Mississippi athletic group for the Mississippi schools goes by.
That sounds great to me, because we have both our guys and girls, they're award winners, they're state competitors.
Yes, ma'am. I've seen all the signs and banners. I had no idea, but I see it when I walk up there. There's
Yeah, thanks.
a long history of it. Okay. Any other questions about the track? Okay. As far as the Summit Elementary goes, that was the project. Once we got the track up and running, we began working on the Summit Elementary project. What we're looking at is around 20,000 or so square foot building construction. And stop me if y'all heard of it. I don't know how much.
They're not.
Okay. All right, so I'll start from scratch. We're looking at about a 20,000 square foot building addition that'll go adjacent to the current school. It'll have 8 classrooms designed for 1st through 3rd grade. Each classroom is going to be around 900 square feet, which will allow you around 30 to 35 square feet per student, and a capacity of around 25 max. For that age group, the Department of Education recommends 20 to 25 students in a classroom group that size. So that's what we've designed it around. You'll also have a multi-purpose area with a basketball court. Really, it's just going to be free throw line, lane marking, and a retractable goal. You'll have a truck down, youth-size volleyball court striping with the grommets to put the volleyball court poles in. And we're also going to have a stage on one end of it for performances, presentations, graduations, and meetings and things. We'll also have an administrative area with 2 offices, a reception, a waiting area, an office copy room. And adjacent to that, we're going to have a nurse's station with 2 exam rooms, and a sick bay waiting area, and a medical storage area. We started work initially on this in January, and then we pulled our resources in an attempt to get the track ready for you by the beginning of this school year. And so we started back on this in March working on it. And we've brought the engineers online. They've given me their best estimates of when they can be completed. So I have with me an updated project schedule. And based off today, we're looking at being ready to bid this project out in October. We're projecting a year of construction time. That will provide you with an owner occupancy of December in 2024. Based off the room sizes and everything, we have programmatic layout, or programmatic breakdown of the facility. And this is just providing a list of all the rooms, capacity, the square foot per student, and the square foot for each area in the building. And then lastly, we have our cost estimate for the facility. Based off of the square footage of the facility, like I said, we're right around 17,611 square feet. Based off current market trends in construction industry, the type of construction that we're going to use, we're looking at around budgeting $325 per square foot, which brings us in around $5.7 million for the construction of the project. That's a little updated from the last time we were here. We were projecting around at 5.5, but based off some of the electrical and mechanical costs that we're seeing on other projects right now, we've adjusted our estimate to compensate for that.
I have a question. For me, as a school board member, this is my first time seeing this. One of the things that I know is possible to have an artist rendition in a visual form, in a digital, that may be the word I'm looking for. Do we have this in a digital form, or even having copies of what you have? Because I would like to know, because I've worked at Summit, and I know the pitfalls, I would call it, of being on the campus. Are we saying with this rendition here that the pods that we've had are going to be closed in under one roof? Is that what I'm seeing, or?
No, ma'am, this is not intended to take away any of the classroom space except for what's currently in the modular buildings off to the, I get my directions mixed up over there. I believe it's the east side of the school. If you're standing looking at the admin building and the columns that are out front, to the left, you have modular buildings and the greenhouse.
Yes, sir.
Those will be gone. We're going to get rid of the modular buildings, and this will be constructed in that area.
So this is in addition to what's already there?
Yes, ma'am. This is for current capacity and an increased future capacity for the school.
Okay, and we're creating how many classrooms? You said 6?
You have 8 total classrooms.
8 total?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess I just wondered, are we going to have access to what we have here in the format that you have it? Will we as a board have this to look at?
We actually left these with y'all from the last update meeting we had, but we'll leave them here for now. And I can send digital copies of everything that I've given you tonight and digital copies of all this. I've got it on a jump drive, but it wasn't real easy to hook it up to the projector last time we came, so I didn't try to get it hooked up to the projector, but I've got digital media of all this.
And if you would, and this is, I don't know if anyone else needs this, I need it, an explanation of what I have before me.
Okay.
And the news media maybe, because he was getting photos as well, so.
Okay.
Because this is a gym, a multi-purpose area. Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna turn it this way.
Yes, sir, okay, that's great.
This is, right here is where the columns sit. Okay, so right here currently is where all of your modulars and the greenhouse and everything sit. So we're going to the left. This will be the front entrance. And this area here is what we call our secure vestibule or lobby area. We use, in all of our schools that we design, we use an access control system where the receptionist that would be in this area has access and control of this door being locked. The staff will have fobs or key fobs or card access. They could just wave and the door will unlock for them. But any visitors, they come up to that door, they will not be able to get in unless someone at the reception desk pushes a button that lets them in. Once they're in here, once again, this door is locked and secured. So they will not be able to get past this door. So once again, if a visitor is allowed to come through here, Someone in the reception area or someone with the card will have to accompany them to get through these doors.
And all of this is new construction?
All of this is new construction.
Okay.
So once you go through here, this is our multi-purpose area, small basketball court, volleyball court, stage. We've got capacity on each side, just a couple of 2-row bleachers that'll fold in and out of the way, enough to seat about 200 people in those bleachers. But if you're having a performance or graduation or whatever, the multi-purpose area itself will sit around 500 people. We've got an office for the PE instructor, storage for the PE instructor, and then we've got mechanical and electrical space in this area. If we come back out behind our reception desk, we've got administrative offices, 2 of them right here. If we come through this door, and this is where our sick bay, nurse's office, 2 exam rooms, and the medication storage. We've got a toilet that's separated just for this area. We've got a toilet that's separated for the staff area here. This is all copy and storage and workroom space for the staff and teachers. And then this area are your toilets for students and for the multi-purpose area if there's an event going on. We come down this hall, and once again, this door, the way we design our corridor hallways, these doors stay open all the time. If there is need for panic, fire alarm, intruder, or anything, the intruder button gets tripped, those doors shut, and once again, you have to have a card to get through those doors. There will be no way to get those doors open should someone hit the intruder button. And then you come down your hallway, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classrooms. We've got a staff toilet down in this wing, some storage areas, mechanical spaces, and then in each classroom, we've got a toilet for the students. We've got some storage space. We've got more storage space in cubbies. And just out the end here is our secondary exit in case of fire or any other emergency. Any questions about it?
My question, based upon what I'm looking at, it may be your feet out. I know there's a concern with the property that's actually owned by the Cone School District versus what's owned by the town of Summit.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm guessing that we're okay with that.
Yes, ma'am. There's about a 30-foot easement that corners this lot, and we're well short of that 30-foot easement. It's identified on the survey that we have of the property.
So what are we doing with the buildings that already exist?
The modulars, I don't know what y'all are gonna do with them.
Okay.
If they're still there when we start, we'll tear them up for you. But I doubt you wanna do that. I don't know if y'all lease them. Most school districts lease them, so they may have to be decommissioned and returned or relocated to another site. It's gonna be up to the district. But we'll coordinate all that before we get going. And the plan is to also, like I said, the greenhouse that they use is here. So we're gonna relocate and build a new greenhouse on site for the students to use.
That was gonna be my next question.
The greenhouse, it will get relocated. That was a key point that was conveyed to us, was the greenhouse. And then the rest of our boards are just, these are just 2-dimensional elevations of the school. This would be the front face. This is the main entrance that we were talking about. The large volume you see back here is the gymnasium. Just need the extra height back there for, you know, sports, volleyballs, basketball, so that way the kids can't throw them into the lights or, you know, into the ceilings. And then this is the classroom wing on the back here. This is the south face. Once again, this is the multi-purpose area, classroom wing, and then these are just your east and west elevations. And then these are just exterior renderings of the facility. This is the front administration area, and then this is just rendering of the design for the classroom wing. And then these are just some interior renovations showing the interior design, cosmetics, colors, graphics. This is the multi-purpose area. You can see our stage down here on this end, basketball goal, striping on the floor, the 2 rows of bleachers on the side here. This is the main corridor going to the classrooms. And then this is just the typical classroom environment.
So the cafeteria and everything that we have, we're keeping
That's right,
okay, what exists already.
that's right.
All right. And this is 5.7 million. And did you give us a projected date for when this should be completed, or?
December of 2024.
Okay, will there be any change in the outside lighting?
Any change or?
You know, will there be any included?
We'll have exterior lights on the building, yes, sir. We'll light the perimeter with lights that come off the face of the building around the entire building area. But as far as the rest of the current site, there aren't any plans to do any lighting with the existing site other than that.
But will the lighting that you're saying that will be installed, will that be enough, sufficient enough for security purposes?
Yes, sir, around the new building, it'll be lit up pretty well to where you can see the entire perimeter of the street.
And we say December 27, 24?
Yes, sir.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Mr. McKay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, for the rest of the projects that are ongoing in the district, the last bit of work on the 2019 storm damage are the repairs to the canopies at Atkin and the installation of the new awning at Higgins. I have quotes for that work. We just need to get it scheduled with the contractor. On the Fine Arts Building, we several weeks ago met with the architect where they presented several layouts to the committee, layouts and renderings of the proposed building, and they're now working on our recommendations for suggestions or what it was we agreed that we wanted to add or take away or to what they presented. And they're going to come back, I'm not sure when they're coming back, but they will be coming back with those recommendations having been made. And we're going to select a proposed building layout from those. I think we started out with 6 and we whittled it down to, I want to say 3 or 4. And then we're going to come back, when they come back with the recommendations, we're going to, where they've included the recommendations rather, we're going to select one of those building layouts that they presented. That building is, the architect is JH&H, just in case you want to know. I spoke with the engineer for the Higgins sinkhole, and he assured me that the contractor will be paving the front of the driveway that they tore up, or they had to tear up, before school starts. It should be finished by the end of the month. That's what I've been told. But you know, that's a government project, so cross your fingers. Okay, the big project is the HVAC, of course. A lot of work has gone on with that project. The electricians and the actual HVAC installers, the plumbers, have been working non-stop since they started Once the equipment started arriving, they started putting it in. As a matter of fact, we have several buildings that have been completed. The White House, Brick House, the Field House. They are currently working on getting the cafeteria at Kennedy finished by the end of the month so that it'll be ready for when school starts. They had to go in and tear out the whole ceiling and all of the venting, everything in that cafeteria to install the new systems. They've done a lot at the high school. As a matter of fact, most of the high school main building has been finished. We have a little tweaking to do with testing and making sure things are running properly. They have some more units that they have to install in the science wing. At Higgins, they actually finished with the band hall, I think today. They're going to do some more testing. They've done a lot of work at Higgins as well. And just in case I didn't tell you, they're installing the equipment as they receive it. So that's why they're all over the place. They really are. Most of the time they're working at 2 or 3 different schools every day. They're working at Otkin, Higgins, Kennedy. Right now is where they're focusing their attention. There has not been any work done at Summit Learning Center. What's the other? Oh, I'm sorry. Summit Learning Center and of course this building and the old bus barn. No work has been started on those buildings yet. There's a lot that has been done at Denman as well. And they're moving really, really quickly, and they're trying their best to get as much done before school starts. So we're hoping that they do. Let's see. Let's say Denver. Yes, they work at Denver. The other building that they also finished, I'm sorry, is B&T. All of that is done. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I have one, and it's going back to what you were saying about the fine arts building and the layouts, the blueprints.
Well, the rendering.
The renderings, yeah. The renderings. When you say that you're going to be looking at what you have, who's going to be looking at the possibilities?
The original committee, which includes myself, Ms. Sibley, the fine arts director, of course, Dr. Ellis, Mr. Lampkin, Ms. Sanders, Mr. Fortenberry.
Okay. And that
sometimes she shows up.
the money person.
She likes to say Mr. Fortenberry. I understand.
And I guess I'm asking that question to know, to understand how a decision is going to be made on what will end up being the rendition.
Okay, let me give you a little backstory on how we got to where we are.
Yes, ma'am.
The architects actually took us on tours of several facilities that they are familiar with, that they've worked on.
Okay.
We went to the Mississippi School of the Arts. We went to St. Joseph's in, is that Pearl or? Ridgeland.
Okay.
What's the other one?
Northwest Rankin.
North Rankin. And we pulled a little bit out of all of those. Oh, we also went to Miss Saks and looked at their building. So once we had seen what we could possibly do and talked about what Ms. Sibley thinks would work for her vision for the program, we gave that information to the architect, and that's how we got to the renderings and the plans. Well, not the plans, but the proposed buildings, layouts.
Okay, that's what I think. That's what I wanted to know, and my only other question, like Ms. Merle was saying a second ago about the garden.
The greenhouse.
The greenhouse at Summit, will the Fine Arts Building will have pottery, slab clay
Yes,
pottery?
we have a kiln that is very important.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's great, man.
We're definitely going to have a kiln. There'll be a black box performing space,
Oh, wow.
an exhibit space for the scholars' artworks, media arts, recording arts for music, podcasts,
Video.
video, space for dance, music, not band.
Okay.
We have 2 band halls. 3 actually. No band in the building.
And what about the projected cost, Ms. Bashir?
That is also a cost that we are looking at that is going to be coming out of the ESSER funding
Okay.
that will be help covering the cost of this building.
I just wondered if we had a ceiling for what we were gonna be spending. All right. Gotcha.
It depends on the other projects. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It depends on the other projects. I think that Summit had a precedence, and it cost a little bit more, was my understanding, than we anticipated. So we looked at all funding. We actually cut any projects at Kennedy to make Summit a priority. And then, so the Fine Arts would be a secondary priority to Summit. And so we really have to make sure all costs are in first before we have a final, expenses to what will be for Summit. Then the remaining amount will be for the Fine Arts Building. And my understanding is that the Fine Arts Building may take funds from some other places.
And see, that's a concern of mine, because from what I understand, I know, well, we really, at Kennedy, just got back into a building, the 800 building that had burned. We've just gotten back in there. And I know at Denman, we had a couple of buildings, and I think you named it, Ms. Nash, as the 2019 storm damage.
Yes.
And there was damage to Denman, and they were short 2 classrooms.
That has all been.
It's done?
That's completed,
Okay.
yeah. That the only thing left from the storm damage are the awnings and the overhang at the kitchen at Higgins. Everything at Denman has been completed.
Okay, because that's a concern of mine when we talk about priorities. And as a board member, I'd like to know that we're placing our priorities in the right place.
Well,
Because everything got
Denman
burned so far.
Denman was the priority. That was the first thing
Yes,
that I worked on.
Okay.
These other things came up because of the ESSER funding. If we hadn't gotten that, we might not be having this conversation.
Yeah, I see you were mentioning HVAC issues. I wouldn't want anyone right now to be in a classroom August through September, October without an air unit. And so that is the priority.
It certainly is
Wouldn't y'all
now.
say?
Yes.
It certainly is now. Yes, ma'am. And that's why they're working as much as they are, weekends, nights. As a matter of fact, they're gonna be at Kennedy probably until about 9:30, 10 o'clock, trying to get the ceiling finished so that they can move on to the next step in the process.
Dr. Ellis?
Yes, ma'am.
Please. For clarification, the ESSER $1 were, the priority there were HVAC systems.
Okay, right.
The other buildings didn't come in until we received additional funding for the ESSER 3 or ARP ESSER. That's when the other buildings were added, and still a portion of those funds had to be also expended to complete this HVAC project. But HVAC, so if we talk about priority, that is the top priority.
Okay.
And then we talk about additional facilities, we allocated, I think, $16.7 million in our ESSER 3 or ARP ESSER.
Okay.
And that went to complete HVAC, Summit, and then the Fine Arts Building.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any more questions?
Okay, the drafts, when will the board be presented with the.
For the fine
preliminary-
arts,
Yeah, for the fine arts preliminary.
I have to check back with the architects. I'm not sure when they're coming back to us, with their, not final, shouldn't use
Just
that word.
preliminary.
Yeah, with the updated documents, pictures and drawings from our last meeting. I'm not sure when they're coming back, but we will do the same process that we've done with the Summit Edition. Once they get it all on paper, we'll come back and present it. So hopefully it'll be maybe September, October.
Okay. So when you do speak with them, also request that they provide us with a digital copy of it.
Certainly. I'm gonna send you the digital copy of all of this as soon as he sends it to me. I may have it on my computer, I just can't find it.
Ms. Beth? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nash.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion in a second to review and approve financial statements?
I'll make a motion that we approve the financial statements.
I second the motion.
We have a motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any questions? I'm sorry. Any questions?
Yes. On our, Miss,
Berkshire.
I see that, I see that.
I think I said Rashida.
There is an expenditure of, $439,000. Can you, just for clarity, can you tell me,
Do you have a,
claim number 84115?
you got a vendor name beside it? I'm sorry, I don't have.
Fisher Brown.
So that is our insurance, property insurance for this year, for 23-24, that we approved at the previous meeting.
That's property insurance.
Yes.
Lord Jesus.
It's a must have.
Okay, the other question that I have is, how many sets of cell phones do we have in district use?
I know we have the bus drivers, our foreign bus drivers have it, our security officers, and of course our admin. So,
My question is this, at the same time, are they under separate, you have some under separate contracts?
no,
Okay, so we have two sets of,
so the billing for it is different. How we have to allocate it to the different accounts
okay,
is where you're seeing that. So each department has their own account that we charge a certain amount to monthly when those bills come in.
okay, because I was, looking at possibility of, you can get maybe a cut if they all were under one umbrella, but I understand what you're doing there.
Any more questions? All in favor? Aye.
So is that approving the financial statements or the claims docket?
Claims docket.
Did we vote on the financial statement?
Yeah, I thought that was the first one we did. So where you at, Ms. Kim? So we can,
I just have a motion to second on the financial statements, and then Dr. Burks asked his questions.
From the claims docket.
okay, well, let's back up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
A review and approve of financial statement.
I made the motion.
Second motion.
Ms. Martin already seconded.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. A review and approval of the claims docket.
Make a motion that we approve the claims docket.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Next, we have the report and presentation of business of the superintendent.
Regular agenda, we ask the board for approval of agreement Accelerate Learning.
I move that we approve of agreement Accelerated Learning.
I second the motion. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We ask the board for approval of agreement Barclays Security Summit Cafeteria.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Barclays Security Summit Cafeteria.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We ask the board for approval of agreement Call to Teach Education Consultation Services.
Make a motion that we approve the agreement called to teach educational and consultation.
Consultation.
Okay, services. Consultation services.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns?
Yes. On the consultant called to teach, not so much a question, but more so of an indication of intent of, I'd like to request that we do a procedure for call for progress report, maybe quarterly, from the, is that coming from the curriculum department or federal programs?
Could you expect the Call to Teach, Ms. McLean?
Yes, we'd be happy to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
No problem.
Just quarterly, please. That's it.
All in favor? Aye.
We ask the board for approval of agreement CGI Enterprises DBA Southern Fire.
I move that we approve of agreement CGA Enterprises doing business as Southern Fire.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye.
We ask the board for approval of agreement Climbing Higher Heights LLC.
Make a motion that we approve the agreement Climbing Higher Heights LLC.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Question. Same as the other.
Will do.
Quality report, please.
All in favor? Aye.
We ask the board for approval of agreement GDA Speakers.
I move that we approve of agreement GDA Speakers.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We ask the board for approval of agreement Harbor Educational Consultants.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Harper.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns?
Yes. The Harper's Educational Consultant, we are contracting them for 100 days. Correct?
Yes. This one's one.
And those 100 days are at the cost of $12.50. My concern is, this is one of the ones that I recommend, and the total for the, well, I guess the contract cost is $125,000. So, when will we be able to, I mean, I didn't see in the contract where the reporting is going to be provided for the board on the basis where we can understand, we can be aware of the progress that we're making, or if we're making progress. So that is one of my greatest concerns, as well as making sure that the district level data is given to us as a board on a basis where we can monitor what's going on in the different school buildings. Because rather than waiting until supposedly they complete their process and come give us a final report, sometimes that cloud our judgment on whether or not we are spending these dollars in the right place or with the right consulting company.
I do appreciate that, and if it's acceptable, when we do our quarterly reports as far as how we're growing, our efficiency level as well as our growth level, then if it's okay, we can, if there are external providers that contribute to that growth or not contribute, then we can share during that time. Harper Consultants worked a lot last year with Denman School particularly, so as they give their SARS report, their student achievement report, Higgins and Denman, we resume that. We're waiting on MDE to let us know when to resume, but we will certainly include that. We also look internally, I do understand your concerns when we're looking at data as far as our quarterly assessments. Then we're sitting down with the consultants and looking at their area where they are targeting, and then what are their outcomes. And we did do that with the Harper Consultant and the high dosage tutoring. We used that in the place of an interventionist last year because we did not have one. So that data, so that data has to be documented in what we call a SEES platform. We're looking at children individually, we're looking at their attendance, we're looking at the areas of focus, we're looking at the probes that they're given every 2 weeks to see how well children individually are doing, and how do we need to redirect if we need to redirect with those scholars. They're also communicating with teachers who teach the students primarily, as well as giving the principal a report, an exit report, but they also give us a work report individually. But we'll be glad to compile and share with you the results of the work that is being done. We looked last year because we were concerned, and I agree that that's a lot of days, but it's up to. So if we don't need them all, we will not use them all. But we look particularly in math and ELA is where they help. The ELA scores where the children came to school, they grew. And so along with their growth, their proficiency level when they began, their proficiency level at the spring information we've already plotted. And then how many days did the children actually attend the sessions with that external provider. We saw growth, over 50% growth with that external provider for the children she served. And that same consultant, that company provided the math. We saw even more with the math, particularly math 8th grade. So we are looking at those things. Everybody understands if you're not producing, these are ESSER dollars. In our ESSER application, we had to put how often we would actually evaluate the work of any employee with ESSER dollars as well as any external providers. And our response, our approved response is we are actually evaluating quarterly. We do that with persons who work and are employed with ESSER dollars. We do that with external providers. There's even one provider that we will not be using the upcoming year because we did not get the results that we anticipated. We did try to work and redirect, but at the end, it was not the investment, the return on the investment was not what we expected. And so it's called accountability. And I appreciate it, and certainly we will respond.
That's my main concern in that, in doing program auditing, I found in some cases where you have consulting companies come in and they, in some cases, you may not be getting the kind of return that you anticipate. And then another situation is where they may come in and gauge what growth that they anticipate which is not for accommodating the need of the scholars that we, you got one? And so that is the reason why I asked that the admin, the district admin, be involved in these quarterly assessments so that you can see that they're actually using our raw data and what's actually happening in, the effort of moving the scholars.
And last, I just want to say, it's not just students moving, it's even teacher capacity. And looking at observations of teachers, looking at feedback. One of the things that we engaged in planning our professional development for next week were the responses we got from teachers, particularly our June 5th through 8 academies, and where they said where teachers responded that they wanted more, they had that opportunity to do that. Everyone had to fill out an evaluation sheet. We looked and everybody responded positively. We asked that the sessions be interactive. We asked that the teachers leave with a better understanding of their content and how to deliver that in an effective manner, a manner that is appealing and inviting to our children. And we know we're on our way. We have not arrived where we would like to arrive, but we know that we've set a foundation and we have to keep responding to the teacher's requests. But I'll be happy in our reports to share the teacher comments with you as well.
So I have a statement. So for all our consulting across the board, since that data is being provided, can we do it across the board for all the consultants so that way we can value each individual moving forward?
Yes, ma'am.
May I?
Yes, sir.
So to even respond to that, Ms. Wilson, now we actually team up on those companies that we know, because we want to make sure that the right hand and left hand are working together with those consultants. And one of the things that we have really targeted in with the consultants that come in with us on a regular basis, those 75 that come up from the curriculum department, I go out with them. So it's not a situation where they just go out and just do what they're doing by themselves. They not only provide a written explanation of the work that they've provided, the work report, but they also come, they meet me in before and after, so we can have discussion around what does that look like and how can I continue to support until they come back. What do we need to make sure we provide the support for the principal and the teachers? And what areas are we focusing in on? And we look at data on a regular basis. So we're looking not only at their observation, I'm observing them, I'm observing their interaction with the teachers and the scholars that they're working with, but also the data, I'm looking at the data hard, me and my department, on what does that look like as they matriculate through our district. So that is a quarterly piece. That's what we're doing our benchmark assessment with Master Connect. And so even with some of their teacher-based assessments, we're looking at that on a consistent basis. So it's not like they just go footloose, fancy free. Can't do that, because that wouldn't be we would be good stewards of the finance, and we would not be purposeful for what we're trying to do and ensure that scholars get what they need and teachers get what they need. So that's a consistent thing. They sign in and sign out as well with us. So they come to the front office, come to the central office, and they leave from the central office to ensure that we're getting what we're looking for. And that's a speech that we meet with. I know I meet with them on a regular basis, but in the beginning of the year, I tell them up front, if we can't get what we need, you're not the person that we need. But we have been fortunate to have really, really good consultants to continue to work with us and understand the plight of Macomb, and really want to make sure that Macomb does well, because not only do they have a heart for what they do, but they also know that their name is on it too. So they're people of good rapport and a high level of accountability for themselves.
But the board responsibility, and this is just my observation, is to write the paycheck. So y'all have that information, but we're not getting it. So let's bridge that gap. So when we write that check, we know what we writing it for.
And then we get good return.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Okay. This on that day-to-day operations piece, we have no problem with doing that. I just know that we are there. I just want you to understand that we are there doing the work, so we don't have a problem with that report.
Any more questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Before we move forward, Ms. Bates have joined us via telephone. That's Ms. Bates on the phone. She didn't have service, but now she's in.
Yes, I'm sitting outside.
We ask the board for approval of agreement, Heartland School Solutions.
Make a motion to approve the agreement with Heartland School Solutions.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Ask the board for approval of agreement influential education.
I move that we approve of agreement influential education.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns?
Question. On the, okay, on the quote for influential, is that curriculum or?
Curriculum.
That's correct.
Okay, so the clarity on the first and second quote.
Those second quotes was just to show the board that we met the requirement to the procurement requirement for that particular proposal. So we have to have 2 additional quotes for that one quote that we're going to approve. So those was the proof that we had done that work.
Okay, so which one are we approving?
We're approving the influential education, the primary influential education proposal.
Right, but I'm saying that which quote are we going to?
You should have a second quote from Bailey.
Yep.
We're not approving that one. You should have a third one from Khadijah, educator consultant. We're not approving that one. Those are 2 supporting quotes for the one for influential. Influential is the quote that we're approving.
The main one.
That's correct.
Okay, that's why I need clarity on that.
That's correct.
Any more questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of agreement Kids First Education LLC.
I make a motion that we approve the Kids First Education.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of agreement Mississippi Interaction LLC Tyler Technologies.
I move that we approve of agreement Mississippi Interactive LLC Tyler Technologies.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of agreement Mu Alpha Theta Consulting LLC.
Make a motion that we approve the agreement with Mu Alpha Theta Consulting LLC.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns?
Question. On the contract at the dinner, this is curriculum.
Yes.
The addendum.
Okay.
And this is the same situation with the second quote, with procurement
Yes, sir.
requirement.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and in the Mu Alpha Theta is they are going to service all grades or the high school?
9 through 12.
9 through 12, and they're going to concentrate with the ACT?
ACT. That will be the main focus, ACT development for geometry, algebra 2, and any other advanced math along with algebra. And we provide support, but it's really getting what we need to support the ACT development in our math scores. Because although algebra 1 has improved over the years, we definitely see where we have to make a better game with our math and our math section of the ACT. So that's one of the main focuses.
Okay, so they're basically with the math.
That's correct.
And how many days? Because the cost of the contract is $26,000, so it's 20 days?
20 days.
So they give your, you have a calendar? Or you'll establish a calendar?
We will establish the calendar for all of those.
The other question that I have that I didn't get clarity on is that they're saying that they are going to provide 150 workbooks. And those books are in addition to, is that cost in addition to the contract price, or is it?
It's included.
It's included. So those, the materials that are used, like the self-pacing guides and manuals, what have you, those materials, resources, will they be left with the teachers?
They're left, and they have a digital copy, and they will have hard copies of the information. A lot of that material is used for boot camps.
Yeah, that's my
left there.
ask.
It's left there.
Because, because after, I know that it would be good that we would have those resources to use for like some camps and stuff that we have coming up. Okay.
He does that pretty well.
Let me know about that, because I do a camp in CT. That's why I'm asking.
I got you.
I have access to that.
And with that question, the 150 workbooks, is that for both geometry and 150 for algebra 2?
Or is it integrated?
Integrated. So
Okay,
for any of those scholars who work to prepare for ACT and for Algebra 1, because he also does our Algebra 1 boot camp support as well. So any of those products that he has to produce or produce himself, those stay within the district.
And we will have access to use it afterwards, because sometimes they say restrictions on. He got it. I'm asking because I've been there and done that before. Okay. Sometimes you may have parents that say they have students that they want to get some remediation for ACT, and I can pull whatever.
Yes, sir.
That's why I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Ask the board for approval of agreement National Center on Education and the Economy.
I move that we approve of agreement National Center on Education and the Economy.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns?
I just have one question for Ms. Spain.
That's good.
Okay.
Because Dr. Ellis, he danced around this one, okay? We have been, the cost of this is up to $174,000, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my question to him was on the, first, how long have we used them?
We have used them for the last 2 years. We started last year for the NCEE. And that portion, we started to build a career ladder. And in building the career ladder, we first had to define what are we looking for in an effective teacher. What are those characteristics? What are the resources that they use? And we have a 17-member committee. All of those committee members have been through what NISA, Executive Development, program where we knew the background work, when we look at the international countries and the career ladders that they've built. What are some of the things they've done? We studied beyond the PD, which I can bring a copy in a future board meeting. But we looked at what are they doing in Estonia, what are they doing in Singapore. In particular, Singapore has a career ladder. We looked at the number of professional development hours that the United States does versus teaching to what those countries like Finland, Singapore, Estonia, what are they doing? And they've even looked at the legislators just passed in this past session where they have commissioned a study for the whole state of Mississippi, and we're looking at what other countries are doing to build capacity of teachers, but also that I want to see as a teacher, how can I grow? And one of the things is how can I grow and remain in the classroom? So Macomb School District, last year for a complete year, we did a study with leadership groups. We brought principals in. We looked at the capacity of our teachers who would need a mentor, because we want all of our teachers to be highly effective. And that's one of the things we talked about, high quality or highly effective teachers and highly effective teaching to yield the student outcomes that we are expecting. So we looked at where are we now, and then where would we like to go. So what the NCE group did was they are like facilitators. They're moderating our conversations, they're bringing in the international work, they're bringing in things we could replicate, but they're also keeping us true to the work. So what is it that you want? What are the timelines that we're going to implement? And what support are we going to give to make things really happen? And then there's an evaluation piece. And so they have guided our work because there are many times that we fuss and fight to come to the table because you're taking my time from this or that to do this. But if you look back, then we've come a long way. So we know that we have to put in front of each and every child a high quality teacher. I don't want to, I got today a text saying, can my child be in this person's classroom? Well, why should your child be in this person's classroom and not everybody? And we don't want to have to pick like that. We want everybody to be high quality. It doesn't matter whose child goes where. But we have to do that with being very realistic. We have taken in a lot of alternate route teachers. Some have come in and done well. Some have come in and they're willing to do well, but we have to support. And we're asking people to support on top of having a full class load. Sometimes that's not realistic. So when we look at the other high-performing countries, we're looking at, well, they give release time to mentors so you can actually support the mentee teacher. We're looking at models where those best teachers, you need to have a classroom to actually tell me something. You need the students that I have or the characteristics of those students, and I need to see you performing. I don't need you to just come in and co-teach 1 or 2 times. I need to see you with a full-fledged teaching. I need to see you with partnerships with parents. I need to see you calling parents when they need to be called, taking roll and having conversations and building relationships with children. So we've identified some teachers who we feel like who have that and have it well, but now how can you help to develop other teachers? And at the end goal is that, again, every child will have a high-quality teacher. I'm an alternate route teacher. I did not go in the classroom though. I taught in the Delta. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. I'm not from the Delta, but I taught in the Delta. But before I taught, I went to Mississippi Valley State University for a whole summer. When I finished that coursework, I had my curriculum, I knew my content, and I had all kind of resources. So why do we send teachers in now? And I just send them in. That causes frustration, and it causes flight from the teaching career. And if we're going to maintain, going to build and maintain excellence, we must build and maintain excellent teachers. That's why we went with this group. There are other groups that we could have gone with. There's a national teaching project. There's a creative leadership. There's some other people who do this work. We have built relationship with these people, and it is comparable as far as the price. And so, and then they did a lot of hours beyond what they billed us for because they believe in what we're doing in Macomb. And we appreciate that. We don't always go willingly, but again, we see the end results, and we're just halfway there. We're just at, right now, the hard part is the implementation. We've talked about it. We've done small implementation. What we would like to do with this particular proposal is to actually, in 3 schools, we've identified 3 schools. We have identified Denman, we've identified Summit, and we have identified Occy as 3 schools that we want to go full-fledged, making sure we've identified mentors that can come in and help to build the capacity of these teachers. I'm not saying they can't teach. I'm saying I want the results that children across the world have. I want my children in Macomb to have them. We said that we produce children empowered to change the world. You got to give me some substance to produce children empowered to change the world. And the teachers have to be comfortable, competent, and confident in their delivery. And that's what we're trying to accomplish.
That better explains it. And I see that they're saying that it's the 58 days. Is that in addition to what they're saying they're going to give us as support days, or in addition to their regular?
The 58 days is what they're building us for. The 58 days is what they're actually building us for. They'll start with actually training our mentor teachers.
But see, here they're saying that they're proposing an additional 58 days.
Okay.
So that's what kind of...
When you look at the total, because I make them give me days, because I can't compare when they give me just projects. Because I got to be able to compare them to another company. So I need days to equate to how much are you charging me per day. Okay, so they talk about the evaluation piece. They talk about the number of days they come on site. There are days when we do sessions where they facilitate that we're online. And so when you look at those various components, I'll have to look at it specifically, but when you look at those various components, when I do a purchase order, then I have to, what I've done in the past is, okay, you're charging us $3,000 for this number of days, and they give us that and beyond.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about earlier, is that the, were they proposing the 58 additional days in?
They're not 58 additional days, those are the 58 days that they're giving us. It's at the bottom of the proposal.
Okay, there we go. And when they say an addition, they're talking about, because that was last year, we've already had year 1, so this would be year 2.
Okay, that's right.
One question that I have after hearing both the superintendent's explanation of what we're approving and hearing what you said, the experience that I've had in the classroom, in my opinion, is based upon how many students a teacher has. You know, when we talk about capacity, who went to school wherever, William Carey, wherever, and their ability to deliver their content area, it all depends upon how many students they have in the classroom. You know, I've been on the school board for a long time. One of the things I've always talked about is kindergarten to 3rd grade, those teachers not having more than 20 students and making it attainable. And I just wonder, is that a part of what is looked at when we look at bringing a company in to help us to build capacity, retain teachers, keep them here, not chase them off? I firmly believe that K-3 is where we capture our students and build them to become lifelong learners. If a kindergarten teacher has more than 20 students, they spend a lot of their time trying to figure out how, and you have several, if it's 25, maybe 5 of those babies didn't go to preschool. And so a good bit of their time is spent preparing, guiding, getting them to the restroom, to the cafeteria, to the wherever, and very little learning takes place. And I just wonder, is that a part of what we do when we're forming the ability to accomplish a job? Because I believe it's a setup for failure when a teacher cannot, under no circumstances, actually achieve what we put before them. And I understand what my fellow board member, his concerns are, but I think it goes even further than that with knowing what we're putting on teachers in their ability. They're a first-year teacher and they're teaching geometry, and every time the bell rings, they have 30 students coming in, and so they never actually connect and latch on because their workload is more than they can handle. And I just wonder, from the superintendent or from anyone, how do we decide how many students a teacher will have?
So our project, this particular project, the mentee teachers will have an extra release time, so the mentor, the 2 of them, will have a common time to work together every day. They'll have 2 planning periods. They're regular planning period plus an additional one. I wanted to address where you talked about last year we had 156 kindergarten children, we had 8 teachers. So we had 19 to 20 in each room. And yes, ma'am, we do understand that. We also have a teacher assistant in our K and 1st grade classrooms. So we do understand that those numbers need to be smaller. I agree, we're building foundation levels at that point, and we need to make sure there's a strong foundation. I totally agree with you. I do want you to know, generally there are about 19 to 20 children in the kindergarten classroom. That has been a trend. We had 8 teachers last year. In the past, we had 9 teachers. We've had as many as 200 students at some point. However, since the pandemic, a lot of our children didn't return to us. A lot of daycares, local daycares, expanded to kindergarten classes. So the 160 was higher than the highest we've seen since the pandemic. The first year after the pandemic, when we returned, we had 120 kindergarten students. So our numbers are increasing, but we still have the small classes, is what I'm trying to tell you.
And mine is K3, not just kindergarten, and I say that in that, that's a concern, is whether or not we're capturing the ability to achieve. I don't think it matters who we have that comes in to help us with teacher capacity. It's a matter of understanding that it may not be possible if there's more students that can be managed.
I understand. So part of what we do also is look at each year, even when we do the federal program application, we have to look at what's the projected enrollment for each year. But when we're looking at, for budgeting purposes, we're looking at, okay, the teachers need to follow the students. So we've shifted some numbers of teachers in certain grades because it's, you say that we may need more teachers. We've held a teacher at the kindergarten level because right now, we're just now doing enrollment. Of course, you don't know how many children are going to enroll in kindergarten. So in holding, we know that we have to come back and revisit. But I can't give you, I can give you kindergarten because I work with them more. I can't give you specific second and third grade, but that is something that we can note and make sure that when we come back, and especially when school begins, we can say, you know, we want you to see this report. Here's our teacher pupil ratio. And we want to make sure we're within what this board would like, if that's correct, Dr. Ellis. Okay, and of course, if we have teachers available, then we want to ensure we have the maximum, whatever it is that we need for students to learn well.
I just think that that's where the money should be spent, is in lowering the classroom size.
Yes.
All right, teacher to student ratio.
Any more questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Ask the board for approval of agreement Scott Video and Photography LLC.
Make a motion that we approve the agreement with Scott Video and Photography.
I second
the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Ask the board for approval of agreement Smart Sense by DIGI Dickey.
I make a motion that we approve Small Sense by Diggy.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of agreement Temco Incorporated.
I move that we approve of agreement Temco Inc.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of agreement Temp Staff.
Make a motion that we approval of agreement with temp staff.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
We ask the board for approval of agreement Tyreshon Smet.
I move that we approve of the agreement Tyreshon Smith.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of agreement Webb Automotive Group.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Webb Automotive Group.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of policy revisions first viewing and waive second viewing.
I make a motion that we approve policy revisions first viewing and waive second viewing.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns?
Question.
Mr. Brown?
Was that not something that we were supposed to have a revision included, Mr. Brown? Was it something
That was in,
On which board, on which policy?
The absence from duty.
no, no,
But,
it was on transportation.
okay.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of 2023-2024 employee handbook, first viewing and waive second viewing.
I move that we approve the 2023-2024 employee handbook, first viewing and waiving the second viewing.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
We ask the board for approval of 2023-2024 transportation handbook, first viewing and waive second viewing.
Make a motion that we approve the 2023-2024 transportation handbook, first viewing and waive second viewing.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? So, the question is, Ms. Kim, we were supposed to change the transportation to include chaperone on, but I think the wording should be chaperones on field trips, but on athletic trips with teams, it needs to be stated strictly the teams and the personnel of the district. Even though I know we discussed that we was gonna wait till after we hired the athletic director to handle that part with the athletic handbook.
Now, the items y'all asked for last week, Mr. Gibbs did make those corrections.
Okay.
They're in the handbook, that one, and there was a typo on page 7 that he did correct.
So he did.
He did both of those.
Okay. Any more questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We ask the board for approval of business and technology complex club activity fees for school year 2023-2024.
Make a motion we approve the business and technology complex club/activity fees for 2023-2024.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We ask the board for approval to create a renaming of building committee panel.
I move that we approve to create a renaming of building committee or panel.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? At this point, we would like the public to know if you would like to be a party to that committee, please submit to the central office and ask for Ms. Kim Marvell and give her your name and your contact information. And if you'll be selected, you will be contacted per the information that you give Ms. Marvell.
We ask the board for approval to accept bid fuel.
Make a motion that we approve accept the bid for fuel.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
We ask the board for approval to accept bid Macomb High School building envelope.
I move that we approve to accept bids for the Macomb High School building envelope.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
We ask the board for approval of curriculum changes.
Make a motion that we approve the curriculum changes.
I second the motion. I have a motion in a second. Any questions or concerns?
Question, this, just for clarity, it's going to include our, what you call it? The online and
Virtual.
the virtual and the between Southwest and Road. This include that as well.
This is primarily at Dimmitt Junior High School.
At Dimmitt.
Yes.
So the proper answer to the question, no.
Any more questions? That's the dance going on.
The dam.
Any more questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Miscellaneous business, we ask the board for approval of out-of-district transfers.
Make a motion that we approve the out-of-district transfers.
I second the motion. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Opposed?
We ask the board for approval of personnel recommendations.
I move that we approve of personnel recommendations.
I second the motion. I have a motion and a second to approve personnel recommendation. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
We ask the board for approval of personnel recommendations too.
I move that we approve of personnel recommendations too.
Is there a second?
Second motion.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Next, we're gonna go into executive session to determine whether or not to go into executive session. decided not to go into executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? This meeting is adjourned.
So you need a.
Miss Faye.
I'm good. Struggling a little bit. Coming off 6 days. Yeah, it's good until.